All right, folks, welcome back for round 2 action. I'm Randy, your host. This time in the feature match, we have Bryan Kuhn. He's playing Eric Theiss, and it's a mirror match of BOROS Feather. So we're going to knock on the wall, let them know that it is time. That looks like Eric's mulliganing. That's something that he always does. Looks like Eric's starting the clock. So if you're joining us in the stream tonight, pop in the chat, say hello. Follow us, let us know that you're. That way you can get notifications when we do go live. We try to stream every Monday and Friday.
This, all right.
So Sacred Foundry pass turn.
That is the two I've described. That one now.
So Bryan, who's usually in the chat, is actually playing tonight. No 10th District Legionnaire from Eric. Does Bryan have it? Looks like he does.
Two. Here we go.
And Eric going down to 18 off that attack. Shocks the Legionnaire.
It's like, I knew. Here it is.
Second verse, same as the first. Eric's ready to do his life total.
Oh. Yep. Go ahead.
So Goblin Legionnaire. Or Legion War Boss, I'm sorry. So here we see Feather. Now he's going to have to attack into Feather, but he might have a way to get around it. And attacking into Feather might be okay too. He's missing a second red source though.
Reckless Rage to Feather. Yeah, figured that.
God's willing, pro
Had to
red.
try. Yep. I will keep. Walk. Here we go. And returns. Shock. 3.
Eric evening it up at 17 apiece, and he passes turn back.
Oh my god. Yep. Hit you for 2. Here we go. And turn.
Bryan.
Program.
Now the question is does he attack and risk the Legionnaire getting bigger? Where he has the God's willing, he can set up a lot of things. Decides to get in there. Plays a Feather post main. I guess that's one way to give it vigilance, is just cast a second one. Finally gets a second red source, but I don't know if that's going to be enough because he knows that Eric has a God's willing in hand.
Dang, protecting spell in your hand. Here we go. Yeah.
And this is where Bryan just. So I think Feather is a 2-4, I believe, or a 3-4. Adonto Vanguard coming down. Yeah, Feather being a 3-4, he could have double shocked in response to the God's Willing. Should have taken a chance. We'll see if he can recognize that this turn. Although God's Willing now can target the Adonto Vanguard, and Eric can just choose to pay 4 life to protect it.
They gotta race you. Shock. Shock. Pay 4.
And Eric tapped a red, so I need to go tell him he needed to tap a white.
It's my turn. I just freaking misplayed again.
Okay, let me go remind him.
Playing crappy in here.
Hey, it probably didn't make a big deal, but you tapped a red to play for the God's Willing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had enough.
I know you did.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure that I had enough. Okay.
You did.
Okay.
It didn't matter. I'll tell you my misplay after we're done.
10th District Legionnaires. Adonto Vanguard, Legionnaires, and Feather going in.
3, 6, 7, 8.
7-8 currently.
Oh, I'll block that.
God's Willing Scry, triggered.
Counter.
You get to scry twice, right?
Yes.
We know Brian's going to end up taking 6.
I'll keep. Scrap twice. Still good. And so you take 3,
6.
6.
Yep.
Brian's down to 5.
My turn.
And we'll see what's on top. And that's. Let's see.
I got a flyer and I can give 1 pro something.
Yeah. I think I can only survive a turn,
Okay.
but it's still a turn.
I don't see how he survives a turn
Because I
here.
keep misplaying because I'm an idiot.
Those are unglued. The original
Your go.
unset. As we see Feather the Redeemed. He can just
Attackers, there,
attack with everything.
there, 4 blocks.
If he has 2 God's Willing, he's fine.
Pro red.
Reckless Rage. Targeting him.
Okay. So when I cast, he'll plus anyway. So
If
he'll
the
still
other-
go to 4,
That still
and
kills
then
him.
then in response, it still kills him.
But you do get to scry twice.
Yep.
again.
I
So scry once.
I'll still
Scry
cry
once.
once because this will fizz. Yeah.
Yeah.
So scrying once. I'll put that on the bottom.
And God's
That
Willing,
was my
because it
misplay.
ends up being
I could've
countered by
killed
game
you
rules,
better.
just goes to the
Gotcha.
graveyard and won't come back.
So,
Instead of casting the second
That
shock,
will
I should have
come
cast a Reckless Rage.
yep. And this will die. And then blockers.
It says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell
Oh.
that targets a creature you control, exile that
Yeah, I
card
had to
instead of
block
putting it
him.
into the graveyard as it
He
resolves.
dies.
It doesn't resolve, so it's going to get countered.
Yeah, I'll take 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll take 3.
And
then
God's Willing's not going to go to his hand.
No, so then it's still my turn because I attacked. Doing 1, 2, another Vanguard, and turn.
Yeah.
The God's Willing won't return.
Because
It's countered on game rule. It didn't resolve.
Oh, okay, that's right, because it fizzled.
Yep.
Yeah. The target that you targeted was removed by the Reckless Rage. So because the target is no longer legal, the spell gets countered, aka fizzles. And because it doesn't resolve, it won't return.
I just want to see my next card so I can scoop.
But it says whenever you cast.
If it resolves, if it would be put in the graveyard as it resolves.
As it resolves. As it resolves. All right,
Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, it's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
But
So.
yeah.
Because I forgot that it's as it resolves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Bryan picks it up because he's so far down, and Eric wins game
A couple of
1.
turns ago or something.
Oh no, I had that in my starting hand.
Yeah.
I had 2.
Well, no, because you said like a couple of times that you had
So I think if Bryan would have caught Eric off guard, he could have definitely stopped the feather shenanigans.
Okay. Yeah, I completely misplayed that, and I'm kicking myself for it. I gotta think what to take out against you. I haven't.
Yeah, I don't.
I many feather decks.
I haven't played enough.
Like there's certain cards you just know you gotta keep.
Yeah.
But no, if I had played that right, I probably would have won. Or I could, excuse me, possibly could have won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what I think Bryan's alluding to is the same thing that I was saying. Had he cast, so Eric goes to cast God's Willing to try to get the cantrip off. He double bolts the feather. Feather's now gone, and now the God's Willing's gone as well.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 more. I'll do 2 more.
So very interesting things.
Yeah, they're probably saying on there, well, that's good. Yeah. Bryan is a young player. Does he know how to play the cards right?
So I wonder how intriguing the sideboard is in this matchup, because I really think it's about who can get the God's Willing to resolve the best. How was my day? Pretty okay. A lot of paperwork being done. Just doing a bunch of stuff. Yep.
I'm just taking random stuff out. I think. Sure. Maybe this one, and then this one maybe.
I was working with Shelby on designing
I've
the
only
new
played
feature
against
playmat.
one other feather deck, and it did not go so well for me.
So that reminds me, I need to send that off to the printers.
I'm trying to think what me and him talked about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, I think it'll be really neat. You know, she's been doing great work here, improving our graphics, helping us out with our show.
I think I'll go with that.
So looks like they've both are getting close to finishing their mulligan.
Yeah, that was my misplay.
Bryan's sweating in there, and that's the nice, cool place. I think he's just, you know, so focused on the mistake that he made, or possible mistake that he made, or the way out of the God's Willing loop that was being created. Now, if Eric would have had a second God's Willing, ooh, fireworks for sure. All right, so these both are about to present. Life totals are reset. Bryan's going to be on the play. Can he even it up and get to a game 3?
We'll see how that goes.
Ready? Be on the play.
Of course.
He's got a couple land.
I'll keep.
No. Again.
Eric's going to go down to 6.
No, I'm glad it's the first time in here playing.
I love it when Eric riffles his cards. He's just showing dominance over his cards.
Really?
Yeah.
Way back in the day?
I started playing back in. I think the first time I came here was Ravnica Legion. Ravnica, like the first side of the block of rotation. That was literally my first day here.
Cool.
What was that, like October 6th? And I didn't even play because everybody was playing draft, and I'm like, I don't know what draft is. Well, we'll help you. No, I'm confused already. What the heck is draft?
Alright.
So let's see.
Yeah.
Eric has a good mix of lands. He has a feather. Looks like a God's Willing.
And
I think that's what he wants. Oh, I know he likes the sound. And I know there's people out there cringing whenever you see somebody riffle shuffle their
I
cards.
think that.
But they're his
Alrighty,
cards.
so
He's allowed to
that's
do
good.
whatever he wants with them.
Go ahead.
And what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Now, one of the things that I think would be very valuable in this
Well, I don't know.
matchup
Let me
is
see. Yeah.
maybe bring in a Gideon Blackblade
Nope.
from the sideboard
Can't do
in the
that
feather
yet.
matchup. So here's 10th District
Certainly can't do
Legionnaire.
that, so.
Dang it.
It's going to take Eric down to 18. So you dislike it. That's okay.
Because I have to take 2 to be able to do that.
Mm.
And pass it.
So it's 18-16 in favor of Bryan. Now, if he can get feather down, he'll be pretty well off.
Reckless Rage.
Yup.
So Reckless Rage is going to get rid of
Counter.
Eric's 10th District
Right.
Legionnaire. And because 10th District Legionnaire gets the counter,
Gotta keep that on top. Don't want to, though. Hit you for 3.
Yes, sir.
Eric's
Here we
going to
go.
go down to 13. So yeah, 10th District Legionnaire, very strong, especially if you're able to get it. But Bryan's missing a land drop. So Lava Coil, does he have a God's Willing? Sheltering Light.
Indestructible, until end of turn, scry.
Okay. I'll go ahead and scry. Scry again.
This turn.
So Bryan played the Sheltering Light. Target creature gains indestructible. That's one way around the Lava Coil because it deals damage. Now Eric's kind of in trouble because he missed a land drop as
I'm
well.
going to do something crazy, but it does make sense. I'm going to shock him.
Yep.
Scry. Keep that on top.
Okay.
No, sorry.
It was just looking like it was almost going to fall off. So 5.
Hit you for 5.
Okay.
So Eric's going to go down to 8.
Here we go.
Bryan keeping up some spells, whether it be Reckless Rage or... I don't think he has a God's Willing. This might be the first time that God's Willing's kind of irrelevant.
Go.
Adanto Vanguard. So he can shock it here. Eric would probably have to pay 4 life to make it indestructible. So Feather? Nope. Legion War Boss. Now he's going to get a goblin or a goblin token. Be able to swing with both that and the Legionnaire.
Okay.
There.
Does Eric take 5 anyway?
4 go down to 3.
This might be evened up pretty quick.
Nope. Just the 1.
So Eric takes 1, goes to 7.
And you're go.
All right, what does Eric draw here?
Yay!
He didn't catch it. Oh, he got a land that he needed. Now the question is can he put it together? That 10th District Legionnaire is so huge right now that it might be hard to recover. Eric playing his own. I think he needs to keep up protection.
Reckless Rage.
In response, Reckless Rage. Targeting him.
Okay.
Yep, and Eric scoops it up as
Yeah.
Brian evens it up a game
Obviously.
apiece.
I had a 2-land hand, but I was able to keep my guy out. And that shock, scrying, that helped.
Oh, yeah.
So now Eric's going to be on the play for game 3.
So, this,
And reset.
reset.
Yours. I actually did have a feather in hand, but I'm like, if as soon as I play down the feather, he's going to attack it. I got to wait for something to be able to protect it.
With 2 mana, I mean, you can do anything all day. I mean, if I don't get these, I mean, last or 2 weeks ago when I played this, I wasn't able to get beyond 3 mana for like half my games.
This deck really, like, if you can get to 4, you're fine.
Yeah, if. That's the only thing is if I can get to 4 mana. I get 4 mana, but it's like 4 mana and then like 3 pump spells.
Mm-hmm.
Or 4 mana and 3 pump spells. No dudes.
Last week I played this, and there wasn't enough creatures.
Yep.
So I put in more creatures. Because I was running into a problem was keeping my creatures out on the board.
Yeah, they were because remember because were you in Theiss block when they had the
I've only been playing for 10 months.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah, because like the Theiss block, it was kind of like that too, where it was called Voltron, where you'd have one dude and a bunch of like enchantments and stuff like that to pump them up. But the whole thing is if your opponent would kill your dudes before you could pump them up,
Yeah.
you just have a whole bunch of enchantments in your hand.
Isn't that the same with what was it called in Modern? Boggles?
Yeah, and like boggles. Yeah, that's one of the other things that's why they have ones that you don't.
So Eric's going to be on the play for...
They can't have them be targeted. So I'll be on the play.
for this game 3.
And I will keep.
Brian's
Yep.
going to mulligan this time.
5 land. Granted, I had a scry,
Ah.
but no, it's not a single creature. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Because if you have a good hand, I would be screwed.
Some fairly new players out tonight. Haven't seen before.
One of the nice things I'll be able to watch how I play and see how bad I played that first game.
Well, I mean, it'll key off when you just say, "Oh man, I misplayed. Oh, I misplayed."
Oh no! When you see it, you will see my face. Because as soon as I did it the first time, I went,
Yeah. Then the next time you're like, again.
"Oh, I keep forgetting, that some of my removal spells are instant." Because what I ran into when I first started playing is that I would try to cast sorcery spells as instant spells.
Yeah.
All right, so Brian's going to look at his 7 here. He goes from 5 lands to
I should have taken you out.
Do it again.
Yeah,
he's going down to 5.
1 land hand.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
And the only creature I had was a 3-drop.
Yeah.
I mean, I did put in more removal into this deck, but you gotta have the removal too.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish this wasn't all those now.
Bryan going down to
Alrighty.
5 cards, but he's going to look at 7.
3, 4, 5,
6 and 7.
6. Gosh.
Wow, he's going to have to go down to 4, it looks like.
Well,
Wow,
what I
that's
usually like to do, and especially with this new stuff, is put the 2 down that you think you're gonna go, and then figure if you're gonna going down again.
yep. You can't keep that.
One
There,
land
I don't
hand,
think there was a land in his
And my
hand.
only removal was red, and the 1 land was white. I would have kept it if it was red.
Red, because it was shock.
2 shocks.
Ooh. Yeah, that would have hurt. That would have hurt.
Let's just get this over with. Come on. All I need is 2 lands up here. I'll even play 1.
I mean, you've got. I mean, it's a 7 lander. I mean, a 7.
1, 2, 3,
Card
4,
hand.
5, 6, 7. Okay, this I will keep.
You know.
So he's definitely going down to 4 cards, so he's got to put 3 cards on the bottom. And he's on the
Turn
play.
3.
3. Yes.
Woo.
I don't want it. These 4 I have to keep. So that means it's these 3. Is it any order or?
Any order.
I think so. Yeah, I think it is because you get to put them on the bottom. So I think it's you're in any order.
Okay. Well, it's your go. I'm glad you have all those cards.
Yeah, I know. I mean, all right, sir.
Well, at least I get to draw.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I needed. Go ahead.
All right, untap, upkeep, draw this, and I'll to you. Last turn, sir.
So Bryan takes 2 as 10th District Legionnaire gets in there for Eric. Bryan's going to scry.
I guess I gotta play risky. Gotta play risky. Go ahead.
He needs to shock. Does he have a shock in hand? He should have shocked here. Oh no, untapping with 10th District. That's a big sigh for me because it's like, I don't know.
To you. Feather. Last turn.
So we see Feather here.
Fry.
So Fry takes care of Feather.
Just kill it. Just kills it. 5 damage.
5 damage.
Yeah, just 5 damage, so it just kills it.
Here we go.
There's that 4th land that everybody needs.
Oh, I'm not having any problem with that.
And so we'll swing. Nope. Not yet. I'll Defiant Strike. So
It's 2 more.
yep. Scry. I will keep, and then I'll draw. And then
So Defiant Strike.
1.
It's pretty good
4
there.
total. Mm-hmm.
Is it? Okay.
And then we see Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Last turn.
This is what Bryan was talking about. He didn't have enough creatures. And where he had to mulligan to 4. So we're going to see Feather.
That's a feather.
Now he can play a Reckless Rage.
I'll try. Reckless Rage that.
In response, I'll Reckless Rage it.
Yep, in response, Reckless
So-
Rage.
Oh, they both die.
He'll.
No,
Wait a minute. No, this will die first.
That'll die first, and that'll fizzle.
Yeah.
no,
So-
no, it won't fizzle.
And you'll
No,
get 1
it won't
counter.
fizzle.
Get a
Scry.
Unfortunately,
I'm
they're
sure
both going to
Randy will
die.
be here in a second if we did that wrong.
No, I'm
Did we do that wrong?
They both die.
They both died?
that's because he does 2 damage to him.
Because
No.
the word target is on this twice, So deal 4 damage to target creature you don't control, and deal 2
Okay,
damage
so
to target
4.
creature you can.
Then 2.
Because the word target's on there twice, it's going to try to resolve as much as possible. The only way that a spell becomes illegal without being is when all targets are illegal. So this target's still legal
Okay.
for the Reckless Rage, and he targeted Feather. Even though you're getting rid of his Feather with this, his will still resolve dealing 4 damage.
But mine will resolve first.
Correct. He still has a legal target for the Reckless Rage he cast, even though Feather's no longer there.
Oh,
This
because
is
it's
still a legal
target. Gotcha. Okay. All right then. But I will still get the scry, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Like I said, he'll probably be right in.
Well, that was a confusing one.
Yeah.
Same issue that I.
Because it's got to resolve.
Oh, it would still resolve because it hit your.
It
It's
still
not.
resolves.
So this will go back in.
That
my
will
hand.
go back to his hand. I was reading Feather over. It resolved killing yours. As long as a target is legal,
Sure.
when it goes to resolve.
Okay. All right. So.
Now we
I-
know.
Yeah. Kind of confused still, but I mean, I'll work it out or something like
Yeah.
that. So,
I mean, you're still way ahead.
yeah.
So that was a very
trying to call
interesting
myself
interaction with Reckless
Yeah,
Rage.
it's your turn.
And I'm going to bring it up for you folks at home.
I'm trying to claw back.
So when you look at Reckless Rage deals 4 damage to target creature you don't control and 2 damage to target creature you control. And as I was telling them in there, Reckless Rage,
So you'll be able to
when it goes to resolve, if there's any part of it where the target is legal or one of the targets is legal, it'll try to resolve as much as possible. So even though Eric did get rid of Bryan's Feather, his Reckless Rage was still on the stack and still had a legal target for part of the spell that dealt 4 damage to the 10th District Legionnaires. And because it was cast with Feather on the battlefield at the time, and it targeted Feather, one of his creatures, that triggered ability of Feathers will finish resolving, putting Reckless Rage back into his hand. What a bunch of complication just off of one card. And it's mainly because it says target.
Come on, I would have played that. Oh well.
No, I drew it.
Ah.
That's why I didn't play it. Is because that's the card that I drew.
So Eric's
land for turn.
taking Bryan down to 10,
Attempt to strike.
or shock. God's willing.
God's willing.
Go ahead.
So scry, and I get a thing. I get a plus.
Just had to have that in there.
Scry. I will keep there. And then
How do I come back from this now?
was there, and then that was me, and then that was you, and then that's
It's your turn.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
Yep.
it's your
shocked
turn.
on your turn. I was just making sure that you were shocking on your turn.
So Eric had a healthy life total. 2 Dreadhorde Arcanists, and yeah.
And I will attack, cast that pro red, and scry.
3, 4, 5, 6
Scry.
damage.
Bottom,
But it hasn't resolved yet because you could
Scry.
kill me right now
bottom.
with a.
Now these are just scries. I don't have
Oh.
anything else
So
to pump it.
there
So-
should
and
be a
this is
counter.
Plus, right? So 4,
Yeah.
5, 6.
Yeah, 6.
Okay.
So Bryan going down to 4 here. And then a Danto Vanguard. Eric's Hellbent.
Fast turn, sir.
I need a board wipe that exiles everything.
That'd
Planar
be
cleanser. Ah! Ha ha! I won a.
Do you know what sucks about my hand? I can't kill myself.
all right. And Bryan extends the hand to Eric. Eric wins the match.
Yeah, so
2-1.
Why Randy was smiling when he came in is because when I reckless raged your thing back, I still had this in hand, and,
Yep.
and if I
All right, folks. So Eric wins the match 2-1. We'll be back. I'm going to go and see if there's any more magic happening that we can get in there, if we can get some bonus action. So stay tuned. You're watching Friday Night Magic here at Frontline Games.